Good morning, I'd like to welcome everyone. Mark. I'd like to welcome everyone to Williamson County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's Wednesday, April 17th, 9:04 a.m., 2024. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Rice.
Present.
All right, at the top of our agenda is our old business, animal control building. Christian Marlowe, would you like to take this one?
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and skip down to new business and take care of what we take care of first before we control.
It doesn't matter to me. What's your thought, guys?
I would say we go ahead and respect the man's time, go ahead and do animal control and let him get out of here.
All right, Mark, we kind of left it off that we had this drawing of the animal control, and we were talking about different types of building materials, I know. So I'm really just gonna leave it up to you. Pick up the ball where we left off.
Okay, that was sometime ago we talked about
Yes, it was.
options of the constructability, whether it's masonry, conventional frame, post frame construction, and I provided you some preliminary estimates at that time. I refreshed those numbers just for information. It's about an 8% increase from September until today.
No.
Now, that's a national average. That's using just RS means cost means for square foot estimates. I can say we've seen some better bids of late locally with certain trades, so hopefully that'll buffer a little bit. Right now, best we can use is cost averages at the season. I know when we started this, the budget wasn't set. So let's see what we need, working with Kevin, we came up with a plan, provide some costs, and it was left, now we have to figure out what budget for building. So, based on what budget you guys establish for the project, we'll have to be able to work with Kevin to see how we can make it. What things can be left off in this first phase, can we reduce some things, can we make the building more efficient with square footages. It's a no-frills building. There's not a lot to it. It's more about function than it is looks. We put more of the emphasis on the function of the facility because where it was, it's not going to be front and center along Main Street. It's the most attractive building in the county, but it's still going to be a good building. I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Is from my point of view is what will the budget be if we can finalize this thing. So,
You guys had an opportunity to give some thought to the budget.
Personally, I went at it a little differently. I think if this is the building that we all agree we want/need, then that's what we want or need. And I would rather not see cuts to things that we believe we want or need or will in the lifetime of this building. And I come at it from how long will it take us to get the money we need to build it the way it needs to be built? If that needs to be delayed a year, what I'm not real interested in taking on another debt obligation going forward for this. I would rather just put the money away for a year or two and have it and do it right rather than make cuts. But I certainly will listen to anything.
I know that we did budget money for this project this year. So there is money actually in this year's budget. Right. Are you saying you'd like to see what some final costs of this building piece of the
The number I saw originally was almost double what we had budgeted.
Yeah.
So, I think we were around a 2 to 2.3 at one time. So those numbers have gone up a little.
I think we had 1.2. Right. Where we were, which we'll have some of that to move forward.
Right.
If we can add to it next year and budget next year, we may be, in my mind, ready to do this next spring. To do that building, if that's the building.
That's the building that we want.
That we want, and I trust the process to get us here, that this is the building we want.
I'm kind of the same idea. I think we've got the money now to do the ground prep and everything and get it ready. That way we can get it started. And then, we don't have enough right now to go ahead with the final completion. But I think we can do that this budget season when we budget this year or next year. And then knowing what's left and everything. So that 2.3 or 4, whatever it was, that included all the ground.
That's correct. Infrastructure, utilities, drive, parking,
Okay.
grade work.
Okay. You know, we talked with Travis the other day. There's another avenue there that we might be able to access instead of going right next door to him. I don't know if that would decrease the cost to anybody doing that or not, you know.
There's an old road bed
There's no road bed
that
there.
goes into that property. It's on, is on. our property. I think we're still gonna bring probably utilities
Yeah, right.
from 37.
But that way we wouldn't have to move any poles or guide wires or anything like that. That's what they marks.
Yeah, we could look at that.
Yeah.
It was my understanding what we had on the table for access was a process.
There was a process, yeah. We'd have to work with Ameren to get grant that easement. I think that was our biggest work.
And you were talking about quite a bit of fill, correct?
Yeah, the initial, initial entrance as we come in would be to work with Ameren for easement for their entrance. And then as we parallel the north end of their parking, there was a pretty steep slope. So we're gonna have to reinforce that bank.
Right. Quite a bit of erosion mitigation.
We'd have to,
So if we had a different access,
it'd be worth looking at.
Well, there was just power line and power pole.
There was a guy wire that we have to have some relocate. That's not a huge hurdle. It's not.
The way I see it, to me, there's a couple of access. The location for the building itself. But if I can bring it here, I do know, looking at it, when I was looking at it originally years ago, here's coming in on I. It goes back, there is another road that comes right here. It's just overgrown, all overgrown trees and everything. The road bed is there. This would be another access point. There is a gate right coming from here, but I prefer to come off 37.
Anything off 37 is going to be access. The entrance in there. We did visualize this. Now, if there's something in there, so we couldn't see it at the time because we were out there where the foliage was right.
Yeah.
This looked more like a sinkhole in the swamp.
It does.
But I think right through here somewhere, right here with the curve.
Actually, there is the old, that actually is the old recycling plant. Right there, that white block. And it comes around, this is a little wet area here. Right around there.
We did drive this path.
Yeah.
When we got here, we felt kind of blocked because the property owners.
Yeah.
But originally, whenever we were looking at buying this property, and I was out there with the owner of the property at the time, and we were talking about who did a property swap for this. He was saying that there was this access here. It's just overgrown.
Clear so we can see it.
Yeah, now, Travis being willing to help.
I think we could probably talk you into that.
There's also that.
But there is an existing entrance up here. And I don't know if that's still there.
Yeah,
We'd have
so
to probably have to permit for that. Even if
We got
it's,
three permitted,
yeah, we have to re-permit that.
which isn't a huge hurdle, but it's
Right.
a process.
So if in going forward here, okay, kind of in the same school of thought, I like the way the building was designed. I mean, one question I had in mind, okay, the upstairs part of that was housing files and that was also housing.
Mechanical equipment.
Mechanical, okay. What does that add to the cost? I mean, can the mechanical equipment be located somewhere down lower?
We can do ground mounted equipment and duct it for next year. I mean, that is the option. It was just a cheap way of getting some square footage for some archives, and anytime you get that air handler inside, it's just keep up with it.
Just keep it out of the weather, okay, probably.
But they make,
Stays
we
lines.
put a lot of units on the roofs, we put a lot of units on the ground.
Well, I just didn't know
It's outside.
if that had a number, what, if we did it the other way, took that off, you know. It looked to me like they had office space where they could store enough space without having to store stuff upstairs. Plus, in moving on, if storage is a problem, we move on with the other, also, there's a lot of storage over there too, so. Whatever type of storage you're talking about storing upstairs, I think, be stored elsewhere. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, what number would that reduce, or would that reduce? If we didn't have the upstairs and camper outside.
I can come back to that, I don't have that as a line item, just
I mean,
take upstairs.
Ballpark, I mean, if my answer to the question yes or no, would that reduce?
It would reduce the cost, sure, it's less space that has to be, finished, you're eliminating the stairs and the structure for that, and the footprint of the stairs can be used for storage.
Yeah.
Utility areas.
I mean, that's just my thinking, I mean, what do you guys think?
To change the height of the building,
Not necessarily.
truss structure.
We can still, we still give it a good proportion for shape, it'll probably bring it down. a little
Probably
bit,
bring it down a little bit.
I'd say with the roofing.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not an architect.
It definitely reduces the cost, because now you're just looking at attic space versus finished space.
Yeah.
I can come back to you with what I think that reduction could be, I don't have it as an easy line item.
You talked about the mechanical that you had in that would have to be moved out.
Or we find a different type of system, but we're looking at larger units, and now we've moved to more of like a rooftop unit that's mounted on the ground. We've done it to- That's done a lot.
Being out would reduce the longevity of that.
Well, they're designed for that, so they're a little bit more expensive, they have a better enclosure, for that. I have one in my office that sits outside. But they do,
But maintenance would probably be a little bit better.
oh yeah, easier to get to.
Easier to get to service. I mean, there's, in my opinion, having done that for many years, there's pluses and
They're
minuses.
pros and cons.
Yeah.
Things weather, the kind
Yeah.
of refrigerant lines, things deteriorate.
And how many 30-year-old rooftops have we taken off that never missed a beat? And
So I guess that is just a question. What do you guys think about?
that's an easy cut, in my opinion. That's a real easy cut. Especially if we can come up with storage, at least some storage that we can use.
I'm just saying, if we, in our other,
Right.
pursuits of acquiring property over there, a lot of storage over there, I don't know, Kevin, what type of storage do you need? I mean,
I was gonna speak up and, but, there are at least anywhere from 5 to 7 years worth of files that I'm required to keep. And,
And those go electronic, Kevin?
can they go?
You store those electronically?
Potentially, but a lot of the files come from all different veterinarians we work with. Most of it's paper, simply because they had to produce the certificate to the county. I'm not saying it couldn't go, but you have to get all your vets to go electronic, and that may not be possible. Again, 5 to 7 years worth of records we had to keep. Not to mention pet supplies and carriers and bedding and just everyday equipment that we use. The mezzanine idea came from Carlisle, from Clayton County. Like Mark said, it was just cheap storage it was great. And that's what they used.
Right.
They had their pet carriers, they had their office records, they had anything they had to keep.
well, that's what I want to find out. What are you storing up there? Because I don't know.
Okay, so all of my paperwork with claims, rating certificates, all the paperwork that we acquire over the course of the year. Animal disclosures, animal records, things like that, those have to be kept between 5 to 7 years. As you remember, Jim, you guys got us a cook building several years back. That's where we store a lot of our humane traps, our pet carriers, our dog food, all of that type of stuff. And within that building as well, that's where we have our records as well. And actually, last year, I applied with the state archives to actually help me with that, to destroy all the records that were able to be destroyed just to make more room, because we were getting absolutely overrun. We can always look at making more storage or redesign this with storage, but that's why we got the cook building, because we needed room. We really needed room out there.
Well, I was just wondering what was stored, and I
Yeah,
just didn't
yeah,
know, when
yeah.
we look at that, like I said, we had budgeted 1.2, that was.
Sure. If anybody has any free time needs, or come out, welcome to my building, and I'll show you what we have to keep and how we're doing it now. And being stored indoors, right now, everything's stored in our cook building that I have to store in totes to keep the mice out. So being stored indoors can also help that.
I'll say this, if it's not going to be that tremendous of a savings, then they just don't keep that.
I don't think it's a decision we need to make today, Jerry.
No, but that's just kind of where I'm at looking at this. And, the building itself, I like the idea, I like the concept, I like everything, of course.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it,
So
like I
we
say,
think-
do it right.
We think 2-1-2-2, then
If that's what it takes.
that's what it takes.
I didn't see many places that I
There's really
felt
not.
like cutting away at it, because I feel like these guys sat down and came up with the building that the county needs going forward.
He's designed an excellent building.
Yeah.
And I really don't see any reason to cut it if we.
I am for using what we have in the budget this year, once we establish where the entrance is, to get that going.
Sure, they're thinking like infrastructure project,
What's that?
infrastructure, get the road there.
Yes.
That would be, because no matter what we did with the building, we still need that entrance.
Yeah.
We do have money budgeted
For that.
to move forward, so we could at least move that part forward.
So we could, maybe even do fencing, do all the stuff, maybe except.
Whatever we can fit inside there.
Yeah.
I'll have a discussion with Ryan Farley's the engineer, work with me on that.
Yeah.
And I have a discussion about what we can kind of break out easily. I don't want to do anything that's gonna have to be redone.
No, we want to be very careful about that.
Right. We could possibly get some water taps, start having those conversations. Now, there are two other things we have to probably start working on soon. Those involved with the city and the zoning.
Yeah.
There are 2 zoning variances we have to go through. I'm pretty sure it's going to be formality, but I'd like to get that application started with some of the beginning of that.
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get that started.
I didn't want to get too ahead of things. But
Let's get that started. Any help or any information we need, I'm sure you have it.
Well, I was going to say, so if we've got the money set aside, let's go ahead and start using it. And if it'd be okay to contact Travis or Ryan or start.
Absolutely.
The best
Yeah,
location.
I'd like to go back out and look at that other entries of Travis and Ryan.
Yeah.
And see what we think. Because it may not be any less expensive, it could be more expensive until we really get eyes on it.
So we
It
understand.
may be a better entrance, but how it's going to affect the budget. We need to have, cost.
So are you ready to start putting together bid documents then? Is that what you?
We'll need to get you a proposal.
We need a proposal.
Yeah, and I'll get with Ryan on schedule for that as well.
Yeah.
So we'll come back with you on a proposal, what that scope of this first phase would be as far as construction, our services, our proposed fees, and put schedule to it.
So you know approximately what we have in the budget, it's about $1 million to.
Yeah, I think Ryan's initial estimate was $750 for all utilities and infrastructure, so we should be well under that just to get a little bit in entrances.
You're reading my mind. Yes, absolutely.
That's fine.
Perfect.
But we can look at fences, if you want to talk about perimeter fencing and things like that. So,
Excellent. Is that the plan?
Sure.
You guys good with that?
I'm good.
Can I bring up a few things? Our current lease in our building now, do we know how far out, what's remaining on that lease?
I told Kevin, have you guys looked at this lease? I haven't looked at it since last year.
I think I've got it at my office, because they sent it to me, I think I sent it to Stephanie.
I've got a copy.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because, if we're looking at making it, extend this project, which is fine to get it
We just
right.
need to make sure we have a lease out.
Right. Have this go work.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, just something to think about, because I don't know what they're doing out there, but they've bought everything to the north, fenced it off, and then whenever Oasis doing south of us there, to me, it's a matter of time before they don't want us there either. I could be wrong, but I've been living there 40 years.
Yeah,
They're trying to keep people away, they're fencing things off, trimming that gas line that runs behind us, and they're don't have to touch it. Kind of secure. We don't know what's gonna come down the line with our building. So you definitely don't want to invest anything in that building, long term,
Right.
knowing that we don't own the property.
We tried that.
Yeah, I remember,
I
yeah.
don't know. I hate that.
Well, I mean, that's just, you hate to invest in the whole building out there, and then they don't release, and you kind of just out that money, then we're back to square one.
It's not our.
So, yeah, makes sense, but.
we'll send that out to Rick and make sure.
Okay. So I think we be okay to move forward with ground prep or whatever that we need. Whatever direction we need to go next.
Start the process and I'll get in touch.
Thank you, Mark, appreciate it. Sorry it's taken so long for us to, thanks for
We've had a
being,
lot of.
thanks for being patient with us.
Yeah.
Sometimes government up here moves a little slow.
I appreciate you gentlemen, following our design and our input in what we
Yeah.
need, because our building isn't elaborate. It's just what we're gonna need going forward.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a nice facility.
It is, it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be, and there's room there for things that we can do in the future and we can't do now. And this may be our only shot we have.
Yeah.
To do it, so I agree, let's take our time and do it right, and make sure we can
Absolutely.
not cut corners and
Absolutely.
be able to provide a good service.
Thank you, Mark, appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Leave this here.
Yeah, unless you need it.
I don't need it.
Okay, I had that in my office tonight, so, but if you need it,
I don't need
from
it.
the last.
Move out of the way for you.
Oh, that's.
Oh, we'll
fine.
get it.
That's perfect. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Actually, the funds there, we have budgeted for this.
That's what I want to see when we go and move it.
Let's go ahead and move it.
Maybe the capital improvements.
Yeah, I think so. And the funds that we don't use that we budgeted this year, we only end up spending $750. He said. We'll need to put that into fund and carry over for next year.
Well, if we go ahead and move it now and capital improvements, the whole
It
thing,
will stay there.
it'll stay there.
Okay.
And if you need me to put some kind of spreadsheet together, to show what you spent and then what would be left over carried forward.
It should be, yeah, as I said, that should be pretty simple. If you could do that for us, that would be great.
Well, Stephanie, can you go ahead? Or you want me to prepare the claim?
Either way.
Okay. Thank you, Ashley.
We'll need to find out too, is the extent that the highway department can be doing this.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next phone call, I think. Yeah, I know you talked to Travis, I also talked to Travis about that. So, Jimmy, you had a conversation with him about that? Okay.
Travis seems to be over it.
Well, there's a deed there. And when you look at that, where that little pond is, there's what we thought was a beaver dam. It's actually probably a collapsed pipe that we need to deal with because it's slowing down its flow of water. It moves from one spot of the ground to the other. So that needs to be done. So what we're talking about, that's what brought up that other entrance, that one.
I will say, I'm less interested in coming in the highway drive,
Yeah,
because I just don't want to have to mix the public with our trucks going in and out. I
Sure.
just think there's a potential issue there. So I'm much less interested in that. If that becomes best alternative, then we'll have to weigh it. So one of the two more southern entrances look like they make more sense to me.
yeah, I agree. It would be nice to be able to do it without needing easements from somebody else. If at all possible. That would be my thought, but I'm open to either, any way that we do it on the property.
I hope Commissioner Marlowe is right in there that there is a room that would sure make things, at least assume it would make it simple.
It's, I saw the roadway that was heading that way toward the trees, and it's the trees, and there's some pretty good trees in it. You know,
Yeah.
just
We're talking years ago.
blocks of deal with it. Yeah, but it was Jerry Barris that I talked to, they should.
Let's take it goes all the way. So,
All right, anything else for this topic? All right, let's move on down into new business. We've got a CDS contract. Commissioner Hager, I think you were asked for us to make a decision on this.
Yeah, let's move on one way or the other.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, this is just the renewal of the lease we've had. This does come with a new piece of equipment, as I understand it. It seems every other office, or almost every other office, is using CDS with a copier, so it makes sense to me to stay with this. I did read council's concerns of this. I do agree with the signature being responsible. We need to get that addressed. Nothing else that was brought up concerned me enough to be a big issue. This was, I believe, even a reduction in costs. So,
It was a slight reduction in cost, and it was a new piece of equipment that does exactly what we do with this piece of that.
and we're already used to it. I have talked to the staff that uses it the most. They're like, it's just easier to keep using the same stuff.
So in council, his concerns was, of course, the personal guarantee at the bottom. That will have to come off this agreement. The 5-year note, a 5-year lease, and in the renewal part of this, lease part of this, it has a 60 to 150 day prior to expiration of the 5-year lease. We have to notify them if they're not going to renew the lease. And so if we do this, we just need to make sure that that 60 to 150 days out.
To that, it sneaked up on us this year because we're in an extension now. This one does exactly, it's actually the exact word.
It's actually the same
It's
way.
just a new 60-day extension. It's not a complete renewal. So even if we decide in 5 years from now to get out of this, it may
It's-
cost us 60 days.
It's not, yeah, it's not.
And it's at the same cost.
It's at the same cost. And then there was, of course, it was a $75 fee to charge to prepare the financing statement. We're asked to have that waived. And, of course, it is new equipment. So that was the concerns that,
what did you say on $35?
and there's a fee, they're going to charge us a $75 to prepare the financial papers for the lease agreement. And we'll ask them to waive that fee. We are currently leasing it, but now there's going to be going to charge us for that, in my opinion. Okay, is there a motion to approve this?
Move to approve the lease with CDS for the copier. Commissioner's office.
Second that, no problems?
Ken Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Riser.
Yay.
Moving on down, we have an IT equipment invoice. And once again, this is for equipment that is in the commissioner's office. Does anybody have any comments on this?
This was budgeted. The idea of bringing some old equipment kind of up to modern standard. What Mayor proposed was much more than what I had even anticipated. This not only gets new laptops to the commissioners, but also gets new desktops in 2 of the offices, making it much easier for us to migrate from paper to electronic, where when we come to a meeting, we'll no longer have to have big stacks of paper. Everything can be, and it's laid out a little differently in the idea that all of the documents will be stored in the desktops in the offices, the laptops will then connect to those, making anything that is on a commissioner's computer available while we're here at a meeting, so we could look up any document that we had stored if we had to, and came in within a couple of percent of what we budgeted. And we, let's face it, we picked an arbitrary number.
We did, we just threw that number.
We didn't have any research to work from. This does also, our office manager updates her computer and gets her a laptop for meetings as well. So I feel like there's a lot of bang for the buck here. feel pretty good about it.
And if I'm not mistaken, this was, what the number that we're seeing right now is a 40%, at a 40% discount.
The original bid was 14,000. We got down to $10,772.
I know that my computer in my office is really, really old. It's at least 10 or 12 or something.
I hope
And the printer that I have right now cannot print a clean piece of paper. So I think it needs to be done. I'm sure your equipment's probably about the same, right? Mr. Morrow?
Some of my numbers have worn off.
Some of your numbers are worn off. Okay.
That'd be great if we could utilize these laptops to get all that data, come up with a program from where you can all have the cost, the appraisal, all that data, all as a format. So everything plugged in that we need to make decisions that are. That way we wouldn't have big stacks there.
We'll see a savings in paper and
I think so.
printing color. Yes.
Well, as we learn how to use this, we'll be more efficient in budget also.
Absolutely.
So, all right, is there a motion to approve this purchase?
Second.
Okay, just to be clear, it's to purchase office IT equipment for the commissioner's office. And that total price of that purchase would be $10,772.50 for the record. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Riser.
Yay.
Thank you, guys. Moving on down the agenda, is there any public comment? Is there anybody has anything to say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Moving down to miscellaneous. Actually, you got something for us today, miscellaneous?
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed to get to, first one is Seasons Bistro. This is what would be considered the final payout of the $200,000 order. They have submitted a bill from Ross Construction for various items for the projects, management plumbing, rough end, electrical rough end, cooler freezer framing, and all that. The bill itself is $45,000. There's $21,857 even left. So this will complete exhaust their funding around. Next one is Southern Illinois Coalition for the Homeless. They've submitted their March payout request for reimbursement. This is for their homeless outreach service and housing stabilization services, along with the administrative and operational expenses to administer those services. $3,463.64. And this last one, we probably have a little bit of discussion. So I got a pay estimate from Joe Boyke at Warner Shipping for the Burnside Water District. Yeah, this is pay estimate number 3 for follow-up construction, which is $38,549.25. But they're close to completing the project. And so Joe has submitted a request on behalf of Burnside that follow-up construction had some leftover materials. The materials themselves are approximately, so the materials themselves are $26,474.25. That's approximately like a dozen meters, about 20 meter pits, some pit frames, some other frame lids, that type of thing that they are requesting to include in their award. And so then that way they can have these on hand for future maintenance. I know in the past you had a request for additional funding that was left over from an entity, but I don't really think this is apples to apples. They were asking for funding to help support technology training, and you had already given them well over $1 million+. This is a $300,000 project. I talked with Joe. They're going to have about $45,000 left. They only had a small change order. They increased the project about 7,000. They had budgeted $30,000 for contingency cost and another 5,000 for legal, and they don't anticipate going into any of those. So even with that, they're probably still gonna have about $15,000 left over even with this purchase. So I guess I need just a head nod or an agreement that I can pass along to Joe to say that you were willing to approve that material
So
purchase.
they're not asking for.
They're not asking for any more money. It's within their 300,000.
Right.
It's just that the project itself will be completed and under budget, but they're asking to go ahead and purchase these materials in order to just be able to have them for future maintenance. And that way.
So these are not leftover parts, they won't purchase.
Well, I mean, technically they aren't leftover because I mean, it's done. I mean, this is,
That does make a difference to me. If the parts have already been bought and they're left over, I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
If they want to purchase additional, then I say no.
It's kind of like a separate project.
yeah, no, I'm assuming they're, because I mean, none of these quantities are equal. I mean, you have 12 3/4 meters and you have two, 1 inch meters. And then but the meters themselves, if you look at the pay estimates. I mean, they had 194 3/4 inch meters that they, like on this wood sheet. So this would have probably been 12 left over. Maybe they didn't need, to install those. Same way with the 1 inch meters, there are 46. There's 2 left. So these are items that they've already.
If they're leftovers, I don't.
Yeah, if they're leftover. But if they're wanting to make new purchase,
Only if they're leftover, not for each purchase.
Okay. I mean, do I need to get some kind of confirmation from Followell that these are leftover? What documentation do you want me to request to confirm that this list is stuff that's on hand, that's in
well,
possession?
the thing is, if they're on hand, they probably haven't purchased.
Mhm.
We just haven't paid for it. Does that make sense? The contractor may actually be, I've already bought those.
We can contractor send them back if he
We
doesn't
can
use
send them
them.
back.
So I guess that's what I'm
But
saying.
maybe
Maybe-
restocking, those things.
These are the items that you're talking about that they want to use
Yes.
the money for.
Yes.
Okay, I go back to Spiller. More money.
Right.
They could go on and get a loan or whatever to take care of those.
I mean, the difference though is that Spillertown, they were asking for more money on top of the
On top
project
of
because
it. They came in.
this is under budget. This is not asking for any more money than what was awarded.
So it's a little
bit
bit part of the project.
So it's more like the Blairsville water tower project. That was somebody that don't think we did that.
Well, that's why I referenced that.
That's-
It's like it
So
wasn't,
that, in my mind, that's what is fair. We pull that money back. Would you guys be comfortable if I made a phone call to find out where the projects or where the products are at? Have they been paid for by the contractor? If they've been paid for by the contractor, do we pay them or do we ask them to return?
If they've been paid for and it's all in there and they're under budget, I'm okay with them keeping.
Okay.
But I'm not
No
okay
new
with
purchase.
writing another check for another purchase.
No new purchase.
this request is only for the payment, not that includes. So I mean, it's 38,549.25, which is the actual pay estimate.
Okay, no new purchases. I'll call them.
I just want to clarify, not adding 26,000 to it, so.
So how much after this completes the project?
Well, there may be one more pay. I mean, there's a spreadsheet. So their total was 289,777. After this request, they'll be at 204,829. So it's 84,947. I assume there will be one
There's
more
probably gonna be
final payout to complete it. And then the request would be, the difference of that. From 84.
You got time, we'll call them together.
That's fine, whatever.
That's okay.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay. Jim, you say you have something else for miscellaneous?
Yeah, I'd let you guys know, and I thought we talked about in the meeting, talked to Gary Pearson about the countywide cleanup day. He gave us a couple of dates, June 1st or June 8th. I prefer June 8th. If that's okay with you guys, I'll give it over there.
June 8th is okay with me.
June 8th is a great day.
Both Saturdays. The first would be right after Memorial Day weekend. It's a short week. I think it'd be better following June. And we get the details later on. With all the materials, I'm pretty sure it'll be the same amount of materials.
Is that gonna include electronics?
Yes.
It was gonna be pretty much what we picked up last October. Is that correct?
Tires, electronics, white goods. Just anything.
Was there paint?
No
paint, no chemicals?
chemicals.
Paint, no chemicals? No gas, no
The
oil?
the only chemical that I know that they could take would be if they put cat litter in latex. Then they could throw it away.
Do you remember what our time frame was on that last year? Was it a 8 to 12? What was it?
I think it was something like
8 to 12? 8 to 12 work for you guys, will it work for Gary?
sure.
Okay, so 4 hour time frame. So it's Saturday, June 8th.
Yeah, I'll get Gary a call. From that date. That's okay with you guys.
It's perfect.
Other question I would have on the electronics is, do they want to set a limit? I was contacted by a school in Williamson County that has a room full of computer equipment that they've upgraded through the years, and they're struggling to find a way to get rid of it.
I'll ask them.
So even if we can work a special arrangement here to put the two parties together.
Yeah.
And they might just want to go ahead, send somebody over there. to pick it up.
If there's a limit, I just need to let the school.
I'll find out and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Do you remember how much we spent on that last time?
Yeah, it was about $4,000.
I was thinking it was less than what we had
It
budgeted.
was, yeah, under budget.
Yeah. A lot of these things are under budget. Okay, so you'll get back to us on that?
Yes.
Anybody have anything else?
I-
Jim, got anything else?
No.
Anything from anybody out there? All right. So motion to adjourn? Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Thank you.
Jim Marlowe.
Thank you.
Jim Racer.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. You want to use me? You want more? I had hand sanitizer on my hands. So I'm good.
Julie, do you have a moment?
Yes.
Two concerns with the